our politics, our people are starting to understand the importance of our culture, our identity, our values, but more importantly, structuring a government that really takes into account what is needed for our people. We as Métis people have to formalize a plan in regards to who we are and how we're going to deliver based on our distinctiveness, and that's what I've always believed and will always do.
In 2018, the Government of Canada and Indigenous governments announced the co-developed Indigenous Early Learning and Childcare Framework. The framework represents a shared vision for Indigenous early learning and childcare, one where all Indigenous children have the opportunity to experience high-quality, culturally based programming that is designed and delivered by Indigenous people. As part of its language retention and revitalization efforts, since 2020, Métis Nation Saskatchewan is supporting Michif and Dene language programs in pre-kindergarten and kindergarten classrooms. As of 2022, under the guidance of teachers, elders, and language keepers, over 600 students are learning Michif and Dene in 17 schools across all 12 Métis Nation regions in the province. This video highlights some of the early successes from this initiative.
I've always been a proud Métis. There was a time when I didn't really know who that was, and I remember the time exactly was when I very first visited Batoche, and how when I seen my surroundings and how people were like, that's when I really wow, this is who I am. These are my people, and we really got a sense of how important the language was, how important where we came from was. Identity is so important, and if I can instill that in our students at this young age, they're going to grow up proud of who they are, where they came from, and have a bright future.
When I came to school, it was really hard coming because my parents told me when I left that first day of school, do not tell anyone you're Métis. That's what we were told. Seeing these kids growing up with this culture, I think that's a positive note. It should be taught in every school, every classroom. That's how it should be. I wish I would have had that when I came to school.
It's emotional for me because our language and our culture was stolen. It wasn't lost. We didn't lose anything. So to be able to work with these kids every day, to hear them speak the language, it's one of the most important things that I could probably see in my whole career.
The language, if it's not revitalized and our stories, our history aren't documented, our ceremonies, our songs, our legends, our mythology will have nothing. We can say we're a nation all we want, but if you don't have those distinction elements, you're not a nation because you need to have your language. All those things that our children can learn. And now they have a chance to learn.
One of our dads came in, had a nice conversation, but he actually surprised me by saying, that's it. I'm like, do you speak? And he said, no. I said, well, where'd you learn that? He said, well, my son's been teaching me this too. And I'm like, wow. And he was proud of that. He was proud that he was learning the language that he didn't get that opportunity to learn. And here we are, teaching that younger generation. It does really bring that pride to what we're doing here.
People want to know who they are, so we have to teach them. And they'll learn through these little kids. Them little kids at 3-year-old, they're school teachers. And they're taking it home to their mushum, kokum, that because of residential schools, 60 schools, whatever reason, they lost their language. Now they're getting it back to those little kids. It's so powerful.
I see from the elders that what we're doing can only get better. We can only become more proud, and we can pass that on to our kids, and then that hurt that we feel, I think it's getting less and less. And these kids, I feel like they don't even know not to be proud.